Brought to you by our good friends at topsport.com.au. Now, it is a Wednesday morning, but we missed him so much that we had to bring him back. Old mate Benyam Kidane from NBA Australia. How are you, sir?
My brother, how you doing?
I'm doing great, mate. It's always a pleasure to have you on, and my day just brightens up, mate, every time I see you. We did miss you, mate. We did miss you. BK, let's just get stuck straight into it. We've got a lot of NBA news to talk about. Now, we spoke about Josh Giddy on Monday morning. I want to touch on him again real briefly right now because he had an amazing game yesterday. Probably his best game, maybe his best game of the season, BK. The Thunder, they played the Memphis Grizzlies. Now, as you remember, they lost by a lot to the Memphis Grizzlies not too long ago. I believe it was like 70-odd points just recently, but they got some sort of revenge yesterday, got a 102-99 win in Memphis as well. Giddy made a lot of big plays, had 19 points, which tied a career high, 11 assists, 5 rebounds. And became the first Thunder rookie since Russell Westbrook to record back-to-back games with 10-plus assists. BK, what did you make of that performance yesterday?
I agree. I think it was his best performance of the season, not just in the counting stats, but it was his impact on the game late. I mean, he had a layup to give them the lead late. He set up Kendrick Williams for a three-pointer, and then on that clinching play off the inbounds, finding Shai Gilgeous-Alexander on that backdoor cut. I mean, he already looks like one of the better inbounds passes in the league, which is especially impressive considering guys have been struggling a little bit on the inbounds. Maybe it's the new ball, I don't know what, but there's been a lot of fluffed inbounds this season. But Giddy's got a cool head in those situations. He's always looking to find the bucket there.
Yeah, he certainly does have a cool head. Look, I love SGA. I think he's a great young player, but I'm just trying to imagine now, imagine Giddy inbounding and maybe inbounding to a guy like a DeRozan or, just someone how awesome would that be, BK?
Get that nice little turnaround fadeaway on the inbounds.
Yeah. Look, we can only hope and dream. But look, like I said, I love SGA. I think he's going to be a fantastic player, so he could evolve into that guy. But speaking of DeMar DeRozan, BK, he is back from health and safety protocols and he's playing like he never left. Back-to-back games, he had 38 points, I think 32 yesterday as well. BK, the Chicago Bulls are his team. They will only go as far as DeMar DeRozan carries them. They're 19-10 right now, 1.5 game behind the Nets, who don't have enough guys to fill out a roster these days, it seems. Bulls head coach Billy Donovan said yesterday, there's a calmness to him. He doesn't get rattled. BK, DeMar DeRozan, is the Chicago Bulls his team?
Look, I will admit, I wrote an MVP ladder on the weekend at NBA.com and had him at 6th. He missed those 3 games and he came back with a bang, as you said, averaging 32 over those first 2 games. This is, an especially impressive campaign for him. Just considering, do you remember the talk about him in the offseason as the worst free agent move of the summer? And there was not a lot of love for DeMar DeRozan in Chicago, but he's kept a lot of mouths quiet this season with some of his performances, especially with his fourth quarter scoring. I think he's averaging 8 per game in the fourth quarter, which leads the NBA. He's just been incredible for the Bulls.
Yeah, look, I'm going to be completely honest here and transparent. When he was with the Spurs, I thought he was done. I've always liked DeMar DeRozan. He's been a great guy to speak to in the NBA locker rooms. But I used to watch him with the Spurs, and I was like, okay, maybe the game's kind of passed him by because he's not really a three-point shooting guy. He's more of a mid-range. He'll pump fake you to death. He'll hit that mid-range shot. So I was like, maybe he's done. But as a total of what the Bulls did in the offseason, I really liked those moves. So I just didn't expect him to be as good as he's been right now. And like you said, he is in the MVP conversation, BK, and we're just going to jump straight into that now as well. Preseason, I believe you picked Kevin Durant to win the MVP. I picked Giannis Adetokounmpo, BK. 30-odd games into the new NBA season. Are you still sticking by that prediction?
I'm happy with KD at number one on my MVP ladder. I think the last kind of week really kind of solidified that. He had that game-winning performance in Philly. He had that 51 piece in Detroit, and then like a 34-point triple-double in the other game. I mean, that it was really that last week where I was like, yeah, you know what? I'm good with KD as MVP. I probably had him in the pack leading up to that week, but after leading the Nets, especially how shorthanded they are, and just kind of seeing what he's been able to do and keep things afloat, I think he's the best player in the league right now.
I disagree there. I actually think Giannis is the best player in the league. But as far as MVP, BK, I think there's only maybe about 5 real serious candidates. Obviously, Giannis, KD, Steph Curry. I'm going to put DeRozan in there as well. And look, Nikola Jokic, because I think he's having a fantastic season. But the Nuggets, they're 5th in the West. I don't see them getting into the top 4 by season's end. And for me personally, I just don't think you can be an MVP of the league if your team's not even in the top half of the playoff seedings. BK, as you remember, I picked Giannis Antetokounmpo to win this thing. It may shock some people, but I'm veering away from Giannis. My MVP so far, I believe, is Steph Curry. Look, he's for the most part, he's been the best player on the best team. Obviously, they're second now in the West behind, the Phoenix Suns. But I just feel like, one of the criteria for me for MVP is if you take that player off that team, how well are they going to do? And if you take Steph Curry off the Golden State Warriors, they do not even make the playoffs this season. The MVP is very narrative driven, and just that whole thing around, the Warriors, I don't think we definitely didn't expect them to be as good as they are. I think that's going to play a part into Steph being MVP at the end of the season.
I'm not mad at that, especially when you throw in the 3-point record. And then Klay Thompson obviously still to come back. Everything's kind of building for the Golden State Warriors. And similar to DeRozan, I don't think anyone saw this coming from Steph Curry and the Golden State Warriors. But I agree with you on Jokic. The stats are there. He's having a historic season. And that's what it took for the last time a guy didn't finish in the top 3-4 teams to win MVP. And that was Russell Westbrook averaging a triple-double for that season, breaking, a 60-year-old odd record. So it does take something historic, to win the MVP without the team success. But I just think there's too many guys that are, not that far behind Jokic in the numbers that have far significantly greater team success. And I think it'll come down to Steph, KD, and Giannis will be right there with them as well.
BK, anyone off the Phoenix Suns a contender, you think? Personally, I don't think so, just because of the way that team is sort of, I think they're very even across the board. There's not really one guy that really stands out in terms of having an MVP season.
Look, I thought Chris Paul could definitely make a case for the Steve Nash type of MVP, averaging 14 and 10, leading the league in assists. But like you said, him and Devin Booker kind of cannibalize each other a little bit. And I think we saw in their game on the weekend, there was like 9 different players that scored 15 points each. And that's just kind of the way things go for the Suns. There's not one guy that's kind of dominating every single night. And that definitely does work against an MVP narrative. But, if you want to go down that road, look at the 18-game win streak they've had, the number 1 team in the West. If you were going to give it to someone, are you even really clear whether it would be Devin Booker or Chris Paul?
Right. That's exactly my thing. I just feel like they're so even. They get even contributions from a lot of guys on that team that you can't really just sort of pick one guy out and say, look, he's been the best player on the best team. All right, so you're sticking with Kevin Durant. I've veered away from the Greek man, Giannis. I'm going with Steph on that one there. Let's talk about our championship predictions, BK. You were Brooklyn Nets, and I believe you called them the old man's home. You said the old man's home was going to do it. I said a Greek man's not going to let you down. The Milwaukee Bucks are going to go back-to-back. BK, you stuck with Durant, or you sticking with the Brooklyn Nets?
I picked the Brooklyn Nets without Kyrie Irving. Now we're getting Kyrie back. Let's go. I'm still confident in the Brooklyn Nets come playoff time. If Kyrie Irving is available, we don't know what the league is going to look like in 2 weeks, let alone 2 months or 6 months. So I still think even without, knowing what Kyrie Irving is going to be doing this season, I still like the Brooklyn Nets to get it together because they have Kevin Durant and the way that he's playing, and guys like Patty Mills, James Harden. They've still got Joe Harris to come back as well. So I'm still confident in the Nets that they've been able to sit at the top of the Eastern Conference with pretty much at this point half the team out.
Yeah, I'm actually sticking with Milwaukee Bucks to go back to back. And for some of those reasons that you mentioned there, I actually think Giannis is the best player on the planet right now. They're getting an even contribution from a lot of their guys. Their big three, Chris Middleton, Drew Holiday, Giannis, is averaging just over 60 points a game. Pat Connaughton is averaging 12. Bobby Portis is averaging, I think, 16 points a game. Grayson Allen, is averaging about 13, 14 points a game. They're in the top sort of half for defensive rating. So they're good defensively. They're good offensively. They're not great, but they're good. And I just think that they know how to win together. This is a squad that's been together for a few seasons now for the most part. And, like you said, Kevin Durant, you said he's the best player on the planet. I think Giannis is the best player on the planet, and he's going to be a game changer in the playoffs. They're 19-13 at the moment, but I just feel like they're building momentum. They're just building towards the playoffs. They haven't even hit, third gear yet for the regular season. And that's it. I'm sticking my money on the Milwaukee Bucks. They're going back to back.
And you missed the most important piece. Boogie, he's back.
Well, I knew you were going to mention him, so I wanted to.
That's why I'm not mad at your pick. But,
I wanted to give you your shine there. BK, moving on. There's another guy that he was an MVP candidate last year. He's probably in that tier 2 this season, and that's Joel Embiid. He's really carrying the Philadelphia 76ers right now. Had 41, 10, and 5 against Boston. 76ers now 16 and 15 on the season. BK, in Ben Simmons' absence, Joel Embiid, when he's been healthy and he's been on the floor, is literally carrying this Philadelphia 76ers team this season, isn't he?
And he's literally the most clutch player in the NBA this season. Averaging, I think it's like 6.3 points in clutch situations. And they've been in a lot of close games as well, the 76ers. But his play has been like, we're talking like the records he's catching up to guys like Kareem, and he passed Charles Barkley for 40-10 games for the 40-10-5 games for the Sixers. But I do worry, is this going to catch up with him and the 76ers come playoff time? He has had his injury problems in the past. He's missed time this season. He's playing at an unbelievable level, but you can definitely feel the absence of Ben Simmons because everything is running through Joel. And when it's going well, which it is now, they look unstoppable, but it's a very, very long season. Do you think he can keep this up for the rest of the regular season and into the postseason?
No, not at all. It was actually one of the points I was going to make. This is not sustainable for Joel Embiid, throughout the season. And then again, heading into the playoffs, you can already see it now where, I don't know if it's still effects from the COVID or, what it may be, but you can sort of see him sometimes on the court, or maybe it could be the heavy minutes and the heavy workload, but he kind of seems a little bit out of breath at times and gets tired a little bit easier.
He's doing everything. That's why
he's doing everything. So no, I don't think this is sustainable for them in the long run. They definitely either need Simmons or they need to move Simmons and bring some guys in to help take that pressure off Joel Embiid. The Sixers are 2 games back of Miami for the 5th seed. Now Miami's got a ton of guys out right now to injury and COVID. So the Sixers could go on a bit of a run here. Maybe get into that top half, but again, long term, no, and that's why I don't think he's in that tier 1 of MVP candidates. Like he's doing everything for the team, but again, if you're finishing outside the top 4, which I think the Sixers probably end up will, I don't think you can be a legitimate MVP winner. BK, let's just jump into some of the games we're going to take a look at today. There's only 5 games on the NBA slate. We've got the New York Knicks and the Detroit Pistons. My Knicks and the Detroit Pistons, I was actually making fun of them the other day and I said, will they ever win again? And they actually did. So the Knicks are $1.30 favorites today. Pistons $3.80. The line is at 208. Total is at 208.5. That one's live on NBA League Pass. BK, Pistons, the red-hot Detroit Pistons snapped a 12-game losing streak over the Heat. Knicks are still struggling. I mean, they're struggling so much that Kemba Walker is back. He had 29 in the game against Boston. But for the Knicks, no RJ Barrett, no Obi Toppin, no Quickly. Derrick Rose is questionable. No Jeremy Grant for the Pistons. BK, who do you like today?
Yeah, this could be a little bit of a trap game for the Knicks, just given the absences that they have. But I'm still team Kemba Walker. Get my man Kemba out there. He looked great in his first game back for the Knicks. So I know you're not going to pick your Knicks, so I'll pick them for you.
Shout out to the VX, Kemba Walker. You know what, BK? Even though the Pistons are surging at the moment, we're on that one-game winning streak. I did say I'm not going to pick against the Knicks, but it is. This one's a tough one. But you know what? I am going to go with the Knicks today in a close one. Close only because they got so many guys out. But Knicks for me. We'll see if I'm going to regret that one. Next game up on the schedule, we have the Pacers and the Heat. Pacers, $1.76. Miami, like I said, a ton of guys out. So they're $2.15 at the moment. The line's at 2. Total is at 210.5. That one's live on ESPN. BK. My Keith Morris likely won't play. Jimmy Butler, Tyler Hero, PJ Tucker all ruled out. Heat are walking wounded right now. In theory, they should beat Indiana, despite all that. But I actually like the Pacers. I think the Pacers are favorites for a reason.
Yeah, the injury list for the Heat is getting pretty long, but you said they've got a lot of guys out, and they've got a lot of bench guys and some G League type guys that are on the roster at the moment. Those guys are killing. Max Strus, Gabe Vincent, Kyle Lowry's got this thrown together team playing pretty well, all things considering. So I'm a rock with the Heat. I like what I'm seeing from some of these guys that are seizing their moment in the sun for Miami.
Look, but you've been on that Heat wagon from the beginning of the season, so full credit to you. I know you're a Miami guy there in terms of, you've got confidence in them, so I like it. Next game on the schedule, we have the Portland Trail Blazers, New Orleans Pelicans. Pelicans, $1.76 favorites. The Trail Blazers, $2.14. The line is at 2, and the total is at 218.5. That one's live on NBA League Pass. BK, Lillard is questionable for this game. Blazers have won a couple in a row, but they've just got a 2-11 record away from home this season. This one's being played in New Orleans. Pelicans also won 2 in a row, but they've got just a 5-11 record at home. A win today gets them off the bottom of the Western Conference. You know what? I'm going with these are tricky games today, actually. Like they could go either way, but I think the Blazers, even without Lillard, might win this one away. Oh, geez, this one's tough. No. Look, my gut tells me Trail Blazers, so I'm going to stick with the Blazers.
If Dame plays, the Blazers win. If he doesn't, the Pelicans win. So
yeah,
I'll go with the New Orleans Pelicans just because the Blazers have been awful on the road this season.
They have. They've been terrible. You're making me regret my pick, but for the sake of entertainment,
Dame will drop 40 tonight now that I've said that.
Yeah. All right, BK, next game on the schedule, we have Minnesota and Dallas. Now, this one should be a good one, actually. It's a rematch from the game on Monday in which the Timberwolves won by 6 at home. So the Mavericks are $1.92 favorites. Minnesota $1.95. Pretty even here. The line is at 1. Total is at 214. Live on NBA League Pass. Like I said, this one's a rematch from the other day. Wolves have won 4 in a row. Mavs are playing at home, but no Doncic. Maxi Kleber's in protocols. Kristaps Porzingis is questionable. If those 3 guys don't play, I'm going with the Timberwolves to continue the winning streak.
Yeah, no Doncic, no chance for the Dallas Mavericks.
Yeah.
As you said, the Wolves have actually been pretty fun over this past week, and we've been hyping up Anthony Edwards all season, but Karl Anthony Towns has been that dude for them over the past few games. So let's go for 5 in a row.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that one, BK. Then we have also this afternoon the Phoenix Suns and the Los Angeles Lakers. The Suns, big favorites here, $1.35. The Lakers, $3.45. The line is at 6.5. Total is at 223.5. Live on ESPN. The Phoenix Suns, BK, continue to roll. They've won 3 on the road, 10-3 on the road. Now the Lakers are also the walking wounded. No Austin Reeves. THT is out. Dwight Howard, Avery Bradley, Kent Bazemore, Malik Monk are all in protocols. LeBron James is day-to-day, as is Trevor Ariza. This could be IT's time to shine, BK. Lakers 16-15 on the season, 10-7 at home. But look, they're going to pick 3 guys up from Venice Beach to fill out the roster today. So this one's going to be an easy win for the Phoenix Suns. They're favorites for a reason today.
Yeah, we'll see Billy Hoyle and Sidney Dean on the purple and gold today. LeBron at center. That's been an interesting development since Anthony Davis has gone down. If he does play, I'm very interested to see how the Lakers. I guess what the Lakers do, whether they put DJ out there on the floor. I just can't see them beating the Suns either way you look at it. Even if LeBron does play there, that's going to be a very, very tough game for them, just because of the number of guys they have out. They're running very, very thin at the moment, and the Suns are rolling.
Yeah, look, and having DJ out on the floor, I don't know if that's a positive for the Los Angeles Lakers, BK. We're going to take a look at one NBL game before we go. It's on tonight. The Sydney Kings and the Tasmania Jack Jumpers. Sydney Kings, $1.26 favorites. The Jack Jumpers, $3.80. The line is at 6.5. Total's at 164.5. That one's live on ESPN, BK. The Kings are 2-2 on the season. Jack Jumpers 1-3. The Kings had a good win over the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix over the weekend. Tasmania lost big to the Wildcats, which was expected. And I actually think the Kings are favorites for a reason in this one here. I don't think the Jack Jumpers are going to win many games this season, and the Kings will win quite easily tonight.
I'm with you on that one. The Kings are back. DJ Vasiljevic is back. We're putting that Melbourne United game in the review here for the Kings. So
what Melbourne United game?
Exactly.
The Jack Jumpers actually have a game against the Breakers on the weekend. The Breakers bottom of the table, winless at the moment, so that could be an opportunity for Tasmania to get their second win of the season. BK, that's all we've got time for today. We're going to see you again on Friday morning. We're going to talk about a lot of the weekend action coming up. This has been another episode of the Last Shot NBA show here on Little Birdie TV. As always, brought to you by our good friends at topsport.com.au, and we'll see you guys on Friday.